We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos.
Everybody.
We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer, we are amigos, and that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos. The Beer Amigos.
On this episode of the Beer Amigos, we head to Philadelphia to attend and cover the Valley Forge Beer Festival presented by Starfish Junction. Travis hunts down Russian River's Pliny The Elder. We catch up with Donavan Hall of the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers about the upcoming Long Island Nano Cask Festival. We drink beers from Hell-Bent Brewing Company, and much, much more. Hey, this is Travis.
And this is Mike.
And we are the Beer Amigos! Episode 7!
Episode 7, here we are.
So if episode 6 was our haunted, dark episode,
Filled with Iron Maiden.
filled with Iron Maiden, 7 must be our holy and calm and tranquil episode.
Fair enough. Serenity.
So we are in the midst of winter. We had a few little flurries today.
It's freezing out.
Yeah,
now.
it's freezing out. Did you see the flurries today?
No, I was trapped indoors.
Trapped indoors. Mike's always trapped
It
indoors.
went from like modestly warm to frigid in like a day.
I feel like it was like 45 degrees just 2 weeks ago. And this morning, I think when I got up and jogged, it was 17 degrees.
My hands are cracked and bleeding now. Trav, you went jogging?
I went jogging this morning. Yeah, dude, I'm getting
part
buff.
Of your, fitness routine?
I'm trying to be the buff amigo.
Fair enough.
Or just a buff amigo, because as you guys know, I'm not really a buff amigo. But yeah, Mike and I both applied lotion to our fingers right before we pressed record on this here digital recorder.
We're lubricated for this episode.
So we've been to a lot of events since the last episode, haven't we, Mike?
Some drinking, we have.
Yes.
I hope everyone had a great holiday season, a safe New Year. I know that I had a pretty good time. I had a bottle of Founder's Blushing Monk stowed away, which I popped out for the occasion and enjoyed thoroughly.
That's great.
I know that your grandmother was in town, so I had to spend some quality time with her.
My grandmother was in town, so I drank some wine, and it was delicious. You know,
you drank your.
I'm the wine amigo.
Your brewery.
I did. Mike, for my birthday in late November, bought me a bottle of 4 Calling Birds from the brewery, and I had that on Christmas Day. So thank you, Mike.
No problem. Travis.
And it was awesome, just filled with holiday spices, and I highly, highly recommend it. Even though I'm sure now you can't find it, but next year when their 5th beer comes out, I recommend
You'll
picking it up.
hunt that down.
I'm going to hunt it down. Or I'm just going to make Mike buy it for me again.
I'll just buy them for you.
I'm going to purposely have a birthday party again so he could just give me that beer.
Continuously, I'll be like, Trev, here you go.
So we traveled to the Philadelphia area for the first time ever together.
Yeah, on Saturday, December 10th, we packed our bags and headed to the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, which was home of the Valley Forge Beer Festival. Trev, tell us about your experience there.
Well, I know we do have plenty of interviews to play for you guys later on, but I enjoyed the Philadelphia area. I had not been there in about, I'd say, 6 years or so. And I had never been there with my wife, and my wife and Mike's girlfriend came with us. So the morning after the festival, on Sunday, December 11th, my wife and I decided to get in the car, drive into the heart of Philadelphia, park our car, and walk around.
Parking the car was essential to that,
Yes.
the success of this experience.
So I was, my wife was really excited to, take in all that was Philadelphia. And I was more excited about trying to find a good Philadelphia craft beer bar.
You were trying to lick the Liberty Bell, Trev. Yeah. Were you kidding?
We did go see the Liberty Bell. Do you know it has a crack in it?
Did you lick it?
I did. No. I tried to lick it.
I heard it tastes like pennies.
I heard it tastes like chicken.
And freedom.
So, my beer geeky brain remembered that Monk's Cafe is in Philadelphia. And Monk's Cafe is a Belgian beer emporium and restaurant. And according to their official website, Monk's Cafe prides themselves on an astonishing collection of fine beers from breweries large and small throughout the world. And they actually also have one of the finest selections of Belgian beers on tap in America. And most beer geeks like myself are familiar with Monk's Cafe Flemish Sour Ale, which is brewed in Belgium for Monk's Cafe. So they did have that on tap. I didn't have it, but I've had plenty of bottles of those, and I highly recommend those during those hot summer months. We had a blast. We were sitting at the bar in the back. I ordered a Belgian beer I had never had before, and I honestly don't remember the name of it. But there was a really friendly bartender, and my wife and I struck up a conversation with him, and he said, "Oh, what are you guys doing in Philadelphia?" Because we told him we're from New York, and I said, "Oh, I do a podcast with my buddy Mike called the Beer Amigos. We were invited to the Valley Forge Beer Festival yesterday." I handed him a flyer, like a good Beer Amigo
Like
should.
a good amigo.
Yeah. And he actually folded it up and put it in his wallet. He wasn't one of those guys that was like, "Oh, cool, I'll check it out, man," and threw it on the back of the bar. So we were just talking, and while we were sitting around drinking our beer, my wife said to me, "Did you see which Russian River beer they had up in the bar at front?" And I said, "I did not see that there were any Russian River beers on tap at the bar in the front." So I asked the bartender, "Is it true you have Russian River beers on tap at the bar in the front?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "We have Pliny the Elder, we have Damnation, and we have Blind Pig." And I think I actually crapped my pants.
Turtle.
Yeah. Those beers are extremely hard to come by. I don't know where on Long Island, if anywhere, you could find those. But the guy walked to the back room.
Oh, I know that Pliny was available somewhere because someone actually...
on the Long Island Beer and Malt was...
Yeah, mentioned it.
Yeah, I think it was a single bottle that they had at Tap and Barrel.
Oh, I thought they checked in a drink.
Yeah, I don't know if Tap and Barrel had it or someone brought it with them. So anyway, the bartender says, "I'll be right back," because he saw how excited I got knowing there was Russian River beers on tap. He returns with 6 glasses. He returns with 2 glasses of Russian River's Damnation, 2 glasses of Russian River's Blind Pig, and 2 glasses of Pliny the Elder. They were about, I'd say maybe 3-ounce pours for each of us. And yeah, I definitely crapped my pants. And I'm sure, all you awesome listeners know that Pliny the Elder is considered by many to be one of the, if not the, best beer in the entire world. So I tried real hard just to forget everything I'd ever heard about that beer and just taste it.
Experience it with
just
no external
exactly,
knowledge.
because when you hear for months in a row this beer is so great, and you hear all your friends trying to track it down, it's obviously going to be stuck in the back of your mind. So tried to push all that aside.
That's tough because your expectations are so high.
So high.
Because everyone's like, this is great. I mean, that's the case with a lot of stuff, not just beer.
Yeah, exactly.
But whether it's a music album or
or
a restaurant.
or the recent Muppet movie.
Or the recent... I like the Muppet movie.
No, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. You got to go into it not thinking that it's going to be really funny. But thankfully it is funny. And this beer was just like the Muppet movie. It was freaking awesome. Absolutely incredible. It's an Imperial IPA, and even though it clocks in at 8% ABV, extremely drinkable. It was definitely one of the smoothest, most crisp double IPAs I think I've ever tasted. It was just really extremely balanced in flavor. Smelled like pine, like a lot of IPAs do, and had that real nice, fresh grapefruit finish to it. It's definitely one of those beers that you drink, and if you're a beer geek like me, you just feel really grateful, just to be drinking that. So that, on top of going to the incredible Valley Forge Beer Festival, which we'll be playing you interviews from, just made for a great weekend. On top of getting to share a hotel room with Mike. That made my weekend. So if you're in Philadelphia, please check out Monk's Cafe. And tell them the Beer Amigos sent you.
Shortly thereafter, on Friday, December the 23rd, we had our Beer Amigos Winterfest at the Cortland and Bayshore. We had a pretty phenomenal turnout.
Yeah, it was packed.
And we just want to give a quick shout out to our good man Bruce. Who's a huge avid fan of the Beer Amigos, who showed up with his sombrero with a key of Christmas on it. He was rocking a Christmas hat on top of his of his sombrero, and it's greatly appreciated,
Yeah.
his enthusiasm.
And he was wearing the Beer Amigos, listen to the Beer Amigos t-shirt
he was
as well.
sporting our threads, man,
Yes,
which is great. So Trav, share with us the beer that we had available that day.
Sure, of course, by all means. It was great. Both Great South Bay Brewery and Spider Bite Beer Company both agreed to brew one-off beers for the Beer Amigos Winterfest. Great South Bay brewed a beer called Amigo Chili Toboggan Ride, which I don't know if you saw, I have framed on my wall.
Nice, that's amazing.
Right behind where we're sitting right now. So, Amigo Chili Toboggan Ride was a cask of their winter beer, Sleigh Ride, but this time brewed with green chilies and cocoa powder. Spider Bite brewed a one-off beer called Court is in Session, which was an Imperial Black IPA, clocking in at 89 IBUs and 12% ABV, and consisting of Galaxy, Calypso, and Amarillo hops. And if you were there, you know there was a snow machine.
A snow machine.
Snow machine!
There was an ugly sweater contest.
Yeah, the girl that won was wearing this amazingly bedazzled
Yeah.
type of sweater.
And I think she's actually from out of town. I think she's the one that sent us that email recently. Can't recall where she was, but she said she had a good time.
She hit us up on Facebook. And
Yes, she did.
And her friend was wearing a pretty great reindeer
Yeah, that whole group of
sweater as well.
that whole group of friends put a few people to shame.
So we appreciate everyone's enthusiasm and,
Yes.
and participation.
And Mike raffled off a few delicious beers.
We raffled.
Well, we
off.
raffled. We raffled off, but you vocalized.
We had some hard finds.
Yes.
The Brooklyn Black Ops and the Founders Canadian Breakfast Stout, which we'd mentioned. And it had a great turnout and a lot of participation from everyone. So.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think it's safe to say we hope to be able to do it next year.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great time. It was a great preface to the holiday weekend. There's a lot of people in town, some new faces. We met a ton of people, so it was great. So we just want to thank Bobby and Ben for having us at the Cortland, as always.
Yes.
And to all of you that came out, even those of you that weren't able to make it, but gave us your sentiments and expressed your enthusiasm for wanting to be there. So cheers to you guys. Long Island Beer Malt enthusiasts for coming out.
Yes.
And all our close friends and family.
Yes, thank you guys so very much. So moving right along, a noteworthy upcoming Long Island event, right, Mike?
Yeah, totally.
Why don't you tell our beautiful listeners what event this is?
On Sunday, February 19th, there is the 3rd annual Long Island Nano Cask Festival presented by the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers.
And over the past week or so, Mike and I have been talking to Donavan Hall from the Rocky Point Artisan Brewers through email, and he was generous enough to offer an invitation for Mike and I to attend the upcoming event. So we'll see you guys there. And we had asked Donavan if he could record a segment, basically just giving everyone some insight on what to expect if you're going to be coming to the festival, what beers you can expect to taste,
Where you can get your tickets.
where you get your tickets, and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to hand this over now to Donavan.
Hello, I'm Donavan Hull, one of the 3 Rocky Point Artisan Brewers, and we are the hosts of the Long Island Nano Cask Ale Festival. And I've been asked to say a few words about that, and the Long Island Nano Cask Ale Festival is now in its 3rd year. We started this along with the Long Island Beer and Malt Enthusiasts 3 years ago, when all of us had brewed beers for the Long Island Real Ale Festival at Blue Point, which we all enjoy. And we weren't sure what to do with all these firkins of beer that we had when they delayed their date. So we decided to have an impromptu festival at our brewery here in Rocky Point. And it was so fun that we decided to try to do it next year, but we realized that we needed a larger venue than our brewery. So our plan was to do it at the North Shore Beach Owners Association Clubhouse, which is sort of a landmark in the center of Rocky Point, up on the highest point here in our little tiny village. And unfortunately, we were unable to get a date last year, so our friends over at Dex American Restaurant helped us out, and they hosted the event along with us last year. And so this year we planned ahead and got a date at the North Shore Beach Owners Association Clubhouse, which is at 55 Clubhouse Drive. And we're going to host it there. It's a little larger venue, more space to move around in, plenty of parking. And so it should be a good time, as it was the previous 2 years. Okay, who's involved? Well, obviously it's going to be Rocky Point Artisan Brewers, and we've got casks from Port Jeff Brewing Company, Barrier Brewing Company, which I think is bringing 2 firkins, Barrage Brewing Company, Blind Bat, and then Spider Bite and Ghost Cat. Also bringing casks will be the Long Island Beer and Malt Enthusiasts and Brewers East End Revival, the 2 beer clubs on Long Island. And we have an open invitation to other small brewers who would like to contribute firkins or other brew clubs. And if you would like to do that, please let us know. You can contact us through our Facebook page, and that's Long Island or LI Nano Cask Festival on Facebook. If you do Facebook, contact us through there, and we can certainly get you in. We also have an email for the festival. It's caskalefestival@gmail.com. The particulars are the tickets are $40 advanced ticket sales. So if you buy it early, you get it at $40. We do have discounts for people in the beer clubs, so be sure to ask about that when you purchase your tickets. What else? Maybe a little history about the festival. A reason why it's a Nano Cask Festival is that Rocky Point Artisan Brewers, we're a nano brewery, and we're designed to stay that way. We're going to stay small. And a nano brewery is basically 7 barrels or less in your production. We're a barrel and a half in our production. Some of the other breweries, Barrier is a barrel and a half also. See, Blind Bat, I think he's upgraded to a 3-barrel system. And we want to encourage and highlight, showcase the wonderful beers of Long Island that are being produced on a small scale, basically 1, 2-man, woman operations that are growing up here on Long Island. And we think we're just the beginning of a blossoming movement here on the island to start small breweries just littered all over the place. So this festival is to highlight what is really neat about small-scale brewing here on Long Island. And, maybe we'll open it up to other nanos across, in the Northeast region in future years. But so I hope you get involved with this. Do get some tickets and come and check it out. I hope you will have a good time. We'll certainly enjoy having you. This has been Donavan Hall for Rocky Point Artisan Brewers, and I thank the guys, the Beer Amigos, for letting me invade your podcast.
Thank you, Donavan, for that essential information. Be sure to pick up your tickets for that event, because we'll be there, and we hope to see you there. We'll be back in a bit.
This is Nico Cremidas from Super Neat Beer Adventure. Yes! And you're listening to the Beer Amigos. So listen, man.
And as always, we are back.
We have some interviews from the Valley Forge Beer Festival, so we're gonna hop in the DeLorean and head back in time.
Back in time.
We are here with Lee Marin from the Stone Brewing Company at the Valley Forge Beer Festival in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Lee, would you be kind enough to tell us what you're pouring today?
Yeah, absolutely. Today we have Stone Cali Belgique IPA, which is our Belgian IPA. And we also have Stone Sublimely Self-Righteous Ale, which is our Black Double IPA.
Can you give us a little bit more insight as to what each of those beers entail?
No. Absolutely. The Stone Cali Belgique IPA is actually... they're both technically one-offs to a sort, but the Stone Cali Belgique IPA is a one-off of Stone IPA, where we use Stone IPA, our best-selling beer, and we actually use one of our house Belgian yeast strains. The Sublimely Self-Righteous Ale is a Black Double IPA, which is not necessarily a one-off of one of our current beers, but it was our 11th anniversary beer 4+ years ago. There was so much demand for that when it came out that we brought it back part-time 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And then the part-time beer just kind of got everybody enraged even more that they got it again, but not enough of it. So it ended up going full-time about 2 years ago, and it has been one of our faster movers since then.
Were these 2 beers that you are pouring chosen specifically due to the fact that this is a winter beer festival?
We have a philosophy at Stone, all the regional reps. We bring the beers that we want to drink that day to the festival. And these were the two that I wanted to drink today.
Smart, you can't go wrong.
Absolutely. And I'm sure some seasonality plays part in that because, I mean, you're looking forward to that. You're craving it. So when you have a great mentality about it and it's positive in your mind, obviously when you're pouring for people, you're going to be like, drink this because it's awesome and I love it. So, I mean, like you said, they're not seasonal, but they are limited releases. And, I mean, that's kind of prevalent throughout the craft beer industry where you really look forward to a beer because you know you have to get it then or otherwise it's not happening for you for another year. That philosophy has worked well for Stone, obviously being a very prevalent and well sought after beer brewing company, rather. Do you have anything to add to that, perhaps?
Well, I think you got pretty much dialed in right there. I mean, seasonality or limited availability definitely plays a part in those types of beers, whether it's from Stone Brewing Company or from somebody else. But sorry about that. But we also we release the beers that we want to release when we want to release them. In addition to the 5 yearly special release beers we put out, we also have started putting out upwards of 3 collaboration beers a year. We did 3 the last couple years. We hope to have 3 this year as well. And we already brewed our first one, and the second one's already scheduled. So we should be able to put out the 3 at least that we're looking to do this year as well.
I was a big fan of the Victory Dogfish Head Stone Saison.
Saison de
So I'm looking forward to more collaborations in the future, to say the least.
You can actually be pleasantly surprised. That'll actually be the first collaboration beer we're actually going to be redoing. We did that beer about a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago. We released it right around April, May of, I guess it would have been 2010. Yes. And the Craft Beer Conference will actually be in San Diego next year for 2012, and we've actually decided to rebrew that beer around the Craft Brewers Conference. So I guess Sam Calagione and Bill Kowaleski will be out at Stone, and we'll be doing a redo of that. I don't know if we're going to be doing 3 versions or not. That all the details haven't been released, but I know there'll be at least one version coming out of Stone, probably springtime of 2012.
Lee, for those of our listeners that aren't necessarily familiar with what Stone Brewing Company puts out, what's in your pipeline and what would you recommend them seeking in the immediate future?
Well, at Stone, we really don't have anything that we say is a safer beer or a crazier beer. I mean, we make beers that we like and that we want to drink, and fortunately for us, there's a ton of people out there that appreciate what we like and they want to drink the same beers. If you're asking me personally what I recommend to somebody that's maybe getting into craft beer, I tend to start them with Stone Pale Ale or Stone Levitation Ale, just because I find that there's a ton of flavor in them. They're fantastic beers. They're the beers that I kept in my fridge when I started with Stone, and I was already drinking everything from Stone. But I find that they're not so big and so crazy that they're going to scare a newer craft beer drinker off. But on the other hand, if you were to ask, one of our co-founders, what beer he would put in front of a new craft beer drinker, he's going to put something that exemplifies Stone, which all of our beers do, but he might choose Stone Ruination IPA, and on one hand that might be the beer that just puts him over the top, but on the other hand it might be a little bit too big for somebody. So it really depends on the person. If we can tell the person's really really excited about what they're getting into, I might go a little bit bigger, I might go a little more aggressive. If they're asking for something a little more on the safer side, I might give them something a little bit lower ABV, but I don't think you can go wrong across the board.
My one funny Stone story was about a year ago or so. My wife and I were at a restaurant on Long Island, and I was drinking the Double Bastard, which is on tap. I'm a small guy. I'm 130 pounds. The best thing was there was two guys sitting at the bar, drinking Bud Light. They had to have been 185, 200 pounds. They're looking at the board with all the beers on tap, with all the ABVs. They get to the Double Bastard. What's the ABV of Double Bastard?
It usually ranges right around 10.5, if not a little higher.
Okay. So they get to the Double Bastard. They look at it. They go, 10.5. God, you got to have 2 livers to drink that thing. And I'm this little 130-pound boy standing behind them, like, just waving, Drinking
it by the picture.
So delicious, though.
Well, Lee, we thank you for your time and look forward to see what Stone has going on in the future.
Absolutely, guys. It's a pleasure, and love the hats.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Travis and I are here with Joe Sixpack in Oak, Pennsylvania. We are just meeting this guy. We heard he's kind of the go-to guy. He is. Who do you write for?
I'm the beer columnist, the beer reporter for the Philadelphia Daily News, and I'm also the director of Philly Beer Week. So that's why we've got the hammer of glory here today. One of my favorite things to do is come out with the hammer, but I'm also an author as well.
He comes out swinging, this man. We see that you have 2 books here. Maybe tell us a little about each of those, if you don't mind.
Well, the one book is Christmas Beers, which is I believe the only beer book about Christmas beer that's ever been written. I wrote that a few years ago, and it's about just the whole culture and history and tradition of Christmas beer, winter warmers, holiday ales, whatever you want to call them. It was it was a labor of love. I really enjoyed writing that book. I traveled really a lot of places around the world to do research on it. And that's being sold here today in conjunction with my new book, which is called What the Hell Am I Drinking?, which is about beer styles. It's short essays about 50 or so different beer styles, and a little bit about the history and just sort of the flavor of the beers, where these come from. Try to give you a little bit of a feel about the background of beers, because there's so many freaking beers out there these days. It's hard to know what the hell you're drinking anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially prior to this interview, we're talking about some collaboratives, and that's definitely the case. Can you tell us where our readers could find more about you and potentially get your books?
Sure. Well, I have my own website, joesixpack.net, and I also publish a weekly newsletter that goes out. You can sign up for it there, and you can order my book there, or it's on Amazon and Kindle.
Great. Thanks, Joe Sixpack. We appreciate your time.
Cheers. Great meeting you guys. I love your sombreros, dudes.
Thank you so very much.
We are at the Valley Forge Beer Festival in Oaks, Pennsylvania on December 10th, 2011. We are presently here with Tom Kehoe, brewmaster of the Yards Brewing Company. Tom, tell us what you're pouring today.
We are pouring our George Washington Porter and our Poor Richard's Tavern Spruce Ale.
Nice. And how have those been received from all the attendees today?
Well, the Spruce is a very unique beer, and it's really gotten some great, fans here already, because it's spruce. It's not like hops in a beer. It's really a neat blend of spice in a beer.
I've already had 2 of those, I'll be honest with you, and I've also had the porter, and I did enjoy both.
And I actually stayed at my friend Dave's house last night, and he actually gave me the spruce beer, a 12-ounce bottle, and he said to me, because I haven't been to Philly in about 5 years, he said, "This is Philadelphia in a 12-ounce bottle." And that's actually a very true story.
That should be your tagline.
That's awesome.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what you guys do and kind of a little background on the brewery itself.
Well, we started in 94, and we were nothing but a cask ale brewery in the beginning. So every beer we did was for a beer engine, or it was fermented in the keg. And we served it. We actually were using the old Hop Stevens kegs back then. We would attach a hop sack onto the bung before we bunged it, to give it that real cask kind of hop and dry hop flavor. And then since then we've grown. We're on our 4th brewery now. We're on Delaware Avenue. We got a 50-barrel brew house now. We went through all the stages of growing. We're a regional brewery now. We're past that little microbrewery mark, and we're having a blast. We try to do everything we can at the brewery to be green as possible. We're 100% wind power, the first 100% wind power brewery in Pennsylvania. And, just taking those extra steps to be conscious about what we're doing.
Great. Like I said, I enjoyed everything. What else do you guys offer that you didn't have today? Is there any other, what's your flagship beer, in a sense?
Yeah, our flagship beers are Philly Pale Ale and our Brawler. Philly Pale Ale is a light, hoppy American Pale Ale, very light in color. It's almost straw. And our Brawler is a dark mild, an English mild. 2 best-selling beers are 2 lightest beers we do. Although we do TJ and IPA, which are 8 and 7% respectively. So,
great, Tom. Where can our listeners find more about Yards Brewing Company?
Yardsbrewing.com, or just stop by the tasting room. We do tours every Saturday.
And where's that location exactly?
It's 901 North Delaware Avenue, just a block north of Spring Garden on Delaware Ave.
Great. Thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Travis and I are here with First President George Washington.
I don't believe he's ever been interviewed for a podcast available on iTunes ever before. So this is a first, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree. I don't know if he even knows what a podcast is, but we're gonna get into it.
Mr. President, how are you doing today?
Well, at the moment I am not president of anything. I am the commander and chief of the Continental Army. It is 1777, where the troops are out at Valley Forge, and we're looking to get through this hard winter while the British Army occupies Philadelphia City.
That's amazing. I can't grasp the idea of that. The fact I'm talking to the to-be first president of the United States, knowing that now that we're back in time.
True honor.
So, what's going on at this juncture in America?
Well, we're trying very hard to get out from under the British tyranny, of course, of our lordly masters in England. And one way to do that is to keep the Continental Army alive. 12,000 men marched into Valley Forge in the winter of '77, and so it is my job to keep them ordered, disciplined, supplied, fed, and happy, of course. And one way to do that, of course, is to brew some spirit of some sort or other. And I do have a recipe for my own porter that as I foresee at some point in the future, may actually be made in mass quantities to be delivered in your time. And of course, spirits are made much stronger when you think in terms of transportation, and in many cases they're watered down. Rum, for instance, is usually watered down, made into a grog. But if you think in terms of transportation, you can't transport it as is. It would be far too many gallons, so you make it much stronger, then you can transport it and then water it down at its destination. You are the Beer Amigos?
That's correct.
We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer, and we are amigos, and that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos.
Are you from the Spanish territory by any... Spain, of course. New Spain, of course. California, Mexico.
No, we're not.
We're from New York.
We're homegrown.
New York.
Yes, Long Island to be exact.
Oh, well, were you there at the Battle of Long Island?
Mike, yes, Mike was there, fought in it.
Brooklyn Heights, yes. Any of your property destroyed during the occupation? The British occupy New York as well.
Not that I have any recollection of, but it's
no
very
cannonballs found in your walls or anything, no?
Thankfully, no. At least that I'm aware of, but
You'll double check when you get home.
Absolutely, I'll look into that.
Well, the first time, my first major battle with the British Army took place on Long Island. The Battle of Long Island, August 27th, 1776. The very first time I met the full force of the British Army on the battlefield, for the very first time. 22,000 or more enemy soldiers against only about 9,000 Continentals.
I feel like Long Island's a favorable battleground, though. Surrounded by sea, obviously.
Well, and of course, the British were in command of the seas at that time. We had little or no navy to speak of at that point. So... yes, it was definitely the odds were not in our favor.
And considering that we're here talking today, obviously we fought a good fight.
Eventually. Not that day, no.
All in due time.
We did not win the battle, but we won the war.
Indeed, that's what it's about.
So obviously you heard it here from George Washington himself that support domestic and drink craft beer.
Indeed.
And listen to...
the Beer Amigos, of course.
Of course. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
Hey, this is Travis from the Beer Amigos. Mike and I are here at the Valley Forge Beer Festival in Oaks, Pennsylvania. We are standing here with Hell-Bent Brewing Company, who brew out of Wilmington, Delaware, and generously gave Mike and I a few bottles of their beer to take home and try. Guys, can you please discuss a little bit about the beers you just gave us?
Sure. So what we're giving you is the original ale. It's actually originale, and the Happy Porter Joy. So the originale is the first recipe we ever put together ourselves. It's really just an easy drinking beer, a little higher in alcohol than usual, 6.5%, but smooth, good flavor. The Happy Porter Joy is really an English style porter. It's not very roasty. It's smooth, meant to be just a good drinking ale with your friends. Something you can enjoy and have a bunch of, really.
And I know, Dave, you're the only one from Philadelphia in Hell-Bent Brewing Company. Is that correct?
That is true. Well, originally from Long Island.
Yeah, small world.
Philly transplant.
Yes.
And we all met at college, Kutztown University in Pennsylvania, and we all loved beer, and we'd drink beer every Thursday night and get a different six-pack during college once we turned 21.
We could only afford the one six-pack.
Gotta play by the rules.
Was it a mixed pack or just a full 6-pack of one style?
We all kind of got different ones.
Yeah.
So we all would
We had the wall of beer.
split it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we had a wall of beer where we took each beer that we had and put it up on the wall so we knew what we had tried. So from there, the only logical step was brewing.
What, do you guys have a style preference, each of you?
I tend to like more hoppy beers. One of my favorite beers is called the Creature. It's a black IPA, and it kind of combines the hoppiness with a little bit of like the roasted
malts.
Yeah, the roasted malts, kind of like the darker beers that I liked also. So.
I've been into Belgians lately, but my favorite beer right now actually is the Old Curmudgeon. I can't get enough of it.
Founders. Dave is referencing Founders Brewing Company.
Yes. Founders Old Curmudgeon. Amazing.
I don't really have a favorite style. I really just like good beer, and it goes with the season. Right now, I'm getting into stouts, liking the darker beers, something with a little bit of flavor. But really, just overall, looking at like something I can drink maybe 3 or 4 of, and just have a good time.
Great. Well, now, go ahead, Mike, please.
Last episode we were talking about how it's like transitional season, like porter into stout, because you're like looking for something more heartier. But I'm sorry, what were you saying prior to me cutting you off?
The same thing. So like right now, we just brewed a milk stout, similar to what Left Hand offers. I've tasted it; it's pretty good. Got a little work to do on the recipe, but as you said, we're looking at more the darker beers this winter. Now I'm starting to plan the spring beers, maybe like a wheat or something, a strong IPA with some lemon or something like that. But yeah,
that's great. I mean, considering you're definitely trying to find a good foundation for your beers and then tweak those recipes, truly getting what you want from it. So it's a great starting point. And like you said, I like the fact that you're like looking forward and saying, like you said, you're looking to add more vanilla flavors into your porter and so on and so forth. But good stuff.
You're right when you say this is the transitional period where I kind of go from like the IPAs, like the lighter beers, and I'm into the porters now. I think I had it was a Breckenridge vanilla porter, I think, and the other night. It's just now I'm going into the more heavier beers, like the milk stouts and like that. So
I'd have to say Breckenridge has the best vanilla porter I've tasted of all the vanilla porters.
Very good. It is good.
All right. Well, we do appreciate. So, where can us little people on Long Island read up about Hell-Bent Brewing Company?
We've got a couple different websites. We've got hellbentbrewco.com or hellbentbrew.com. We've also got Twitter. It's at hellbentbrewco, and we've got a Facebook page as well.
Great. Well, guys, please check that out. I know Mike and I are looking forward to tasting the beers. We'll let you guys know what we think about it. So, thank you guys so very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
This is Steve Ernest, Master Brewer for Tommyknocker Brewery in Colorado, listening to the Beer Amigos.
So we're back from the past. We got to meet George Washington, which was a mind blow.
Yeah, your DeLorean's pretty sweet, Mike.
It's pretty sweet, man. I, take pretty good care of it.
Yeah.
I give it the best garbage in town.
It shows. It shows.
So we're here drinking Hell-Bent's Originale, which is their take on a pale ale.
Yes. They're a classic, easy-to-drink brew, as they like to state.
Based on what's left in my glass, I think that's an extremely valid opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Mike got a little excited to try the Hell-Bent beer. We actually started drinking it prior to our discussion about the beer right now. Definitely, it's got that amber pale ale color to it. I think for pale ales, for me, they could be full-bodied or not full-bodied. There's a lot of pale ales that really just I don't get blown away by. But I think this is definitely has a more full-body flavor to it.
Like, you're definitely getting the hop, but it's not as heavy as, I guess, a more traditional pale ale.
Right. Yeah. With the Captain Lawrence pale ale is just like hop, bitterness. Like it just kicks your butt. Which, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy thoroughly.
But this airs more on the side of modesty, for sure.
Definitely. I like it. It kind of got like a little bit of a, I don't know if I get all my fruits and mixed up, a mandarin or peach or...
It's definitely has citrus tones for sure.
Yeah, but easy to drink is definitely the best way to explain it. It's quite tasty. I feel like when I go out and I go to craft beer establishments, I never really look for pale ales to drink. I don't know what that reason is, but
I feel like I'm that way as well. And this is definitely something that is more of a sessionable pale ale.
Yeah, I'm truly enjoying this beer. So this is very good. Good job, guys.
I agree. Cheers.
And now we're drinking Hell-Bent's Porter Joy. They mentioned it's their first attempt at brewing a porter, and they wanted me to note that the name Porter Joy is a tribute to Dan's lovely wife, Happy Potter Joy.
Did you say Harry Potter?
Not Harry Potter. Dan is not married to Harry Potter. His wife's name is Happy Potter Joy, who graciously puts up with their all-day brew sessions at her house.
That's kind of her. I wonder if they serve this at Hogwarts in the House of Gryffindor.
I'm sure they'd be pretty honored to have that if they made it into the next book.
Yeah, the next book.
Is there? Oh, Harry Potter's done, isn't it? Mike, I don't know about this stuff. I mean, I'm usually riding my motorcycle and drinking beers and stuff like that, and beating people up.
Being envious of my DeLorean.
Exactly. I don't listen to Harry Potter. I don't read Harry Potter. All right, so let's drink the Potter Joy. Porter. I started saying her name. Let's drink the Porter Joy. Definitely a simple, easy to drink.
It's dark
beer.
Like Slytherin.
Yeah, you could keep using the Harry Potter references because I don't know any of them.
Nice.
I just know that Harry Potter was in a Broadway play where he got naked. That's bad. Wasn't he? I don't know why I know that.
He wasn't there as Harry Potter. He's just eternally known as Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Trav, what do you get in this beer?
I'm getting, and I don't know if you are. I'm getting a lot of like a thick chocolate undertone to this taste. I've been comparing a lot of porters to, as you know, Port Jefferson's porter, which I love.
We know,
love.
Trav, you love it.
Which is it's got a little bit more of a sweetness to it. This beer, on the other hand, I think has more of a bitter side to the porter style.
Well, this is definitely a more of a traditional porter where the Port Jeff one is a honey porter.
Yes.
So I know that's what you do, like that sweet
I do.
entity
Yes.
within. But
that's got that slight mocha smell to it.
yeah, that's definitely in there for sure.
And I know you had mentioned before when we first took that sip before we pressed record, you thought it had a little bit hint of a smoky taste to it.
Yeah,
ever so slightly.
Super light. In no way is it in line with a more traditional smoked porter.
Correct.
But slight hints, and that could very well be from any like you got the mocha in there, so
right.
I mean that could definitely be a contributing factor.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very easy to drink, just like their original, which is it's nice sometimes. I feel like sometimes you and I we go for those big, huge, bold beers. It takes us 35 minutes to to drink them.
Work our way through it.
Exactly. It's nice when you get to have just sessionable beers.
Yeah, so we'd like to just thank Hell-Bent for sharing their brews with us, and I'd like to give a nod to the original, which for me wins this battle.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd have to go with the original as well. For more information on Hell-Bent Brewing Company, you could visit their website at hellbentbrew.com. You could find them on Facebook at facebook.com/hellbentbrewco. And you could follow them on Twitter, and as Mike likes to say, at. So you can follow Hell-Bent Brewing Company on Twitter at hellbentbrewco. Thanks again, guys, for the beer.
Cheers.
Hey, fellow beer geeks, this is Dave from Bellport Cold Beer and Soda, and you are listening to the Beer Amigos.
There's a lot of great beer events coming up on the island. Mike, why don't you share them with everyone?
I'd be more than happy to. On Friday, February 10th, there is Long Ireland Double IPA Release Party at Barbecue in Patchogue, New York.
Patchogue, New York.
New York. Starting at 6 p.m., that goes until 8 o'clock. On Sunday, February 19th, this is a reminder, folks, 3rd Annual Long Island Nano Cask Festival at the Rocky Point Clubhouse in Rocky Point, New York. That's a whole lot of Rocky and Point.
Yeah. It's going to be a rockin' good time.
For more information on that, please refer to the Donavan Hall segment or visit our Facebook, where I'm sure we have posted it and will post it yet again. Also, on the evening of Sunday, February 19th, our very own Travis and his sister, their band, We're All Just Passing Through, will be at the Cortland in Bayshore, New York, starting at 8 p.m. Also joining us is our friend Mike Goldens, who will be performing solo on the 6th string.
Please come down and support.
Definitely. Also, looking ahead a little bit, Saturday, March 10th, is the Spring Craft Beer Festival, presented by Starfish Junction Productions, at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. For more information, please visit springcraftbeerfestival.com. For additional events, please visit libeerevents.com. That is the conclusion of Episode 7. Thank you all, as always, for listening. We look forward to bringing you more in the future and seeing your faces at these and other outstanding events.
For additional information on the Beer Amigos, visit us at thebeeramigos.com, email us at thebeeramigos@gmail.com, and follow us on Twitter at thebeeramigos. We also want to thank everyone who's been listening to each episode, who's been sharing our podcasts with their friends, their families, their loved ones. We also want to thank Hell-Bent Brewing Company for sharing their beers with us.
As always, we love beer.
That's why we do the podcast, Mike.
That's why we're the Beer Amigos.
Yeah. So until next time,
adios, amigos! Thanks for listening.
We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos.
Everybody.
We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos.